13th, and welcome to the DNW Dollar Show, which airs on Sirius XM channel 127, 82 days into the most important election of our lives. And every day, Donald Trump gives us a reason to stay angry. Yesterday, 1,468 Americans died from COVID-19. 1,468. Every minute yesterday, an American died of COVID-19. And what was Donald Trump tweeting about this morning? He was attacking Joe Scarborough's ratings on MSNBC. I have to be blunt. Our country cannot afford 4 more years of this bullshit. And Trump knows it. And he's panicking as the polls are horrible for him. And that's why now he has pivoted to attacking the post office and voting as much as possible. And look, it's not just the post office. And I think we got to think outside of the box here. And I'll get to that in a second about how we can still vote safely, and win this election. Because Donald Trump, bluntly, is the greatest threat to our democracy since World War II. But in World War II, we defeated Nazism. And this year, 2020, we're going to defeat Trumpism. And I'll share how we do that safely. But you've got to remember, Trump doesn't want any voting, folks. It's not just mail-in. Just weeks ago, and the media coverage today of his attack on the post office and saying the quiet part out loud, forgets, like he just tweeted 3 weeks ago saying he wanted no voting. He said universal mail-in voting is fraud, delay the election until people can properly, securely, and safely vote. That was not a call for delay. That was a call to cancel the election, because he says, let's delay the vote until people can properly, securely, and safely vote. Who do you think the people is in that sentence? That is Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a wannabe dictator who wanted to cancel our election. And this is one of the few things that enough Republicans said, don't do that. You can't do that. The Republicans are on board with voter suppression, voter ID laws, closing voting days early, getting rid of precincts in areas where there's people of color, all of that they're on board with. But actually canceling the election, that troubled it, at least for now, and that could change. And why does Donald Trump not like voting by mail, which is the one thing that he was talking about a lot? April 8th, he told us in a tweet. Again, he says the quiet part. In fact, he tweets the quiet part out loud. He tweeted, mail-in ballots, quote, doesn't work out well for Republicans. Something about fraud. He's literally telling you that if we have mail-in ballots, in his little mind, it is bad for Republicans. Actually, it's not true. Studies show it doesn't help either party. But here's what shows you how full of crap Donald Trump is. And he's just floundering out there because he's panicking he's going to lose. There was a special election in California in May, which was all mail-in ballots in California. He loved it. But when the Democrats had added in-person voting, he didn't want in-person voting. He was tweeting, Democrats fought like crazy to get all mail-in ballots, and they've succeeded. But now they've opened a voting booth out there. It's all rigged. These votes must not count. Scam. So there's May. In May, Trump saying voting in person is a scam. Well, now he's saying voting by mail is a scam. You get it. Trump doesn't want people to vote unless they're going to vote for him, or at least he believes it's rigged in his favor, which is so alarming that he is fine with mail-in voting in Florida with his buddy Rick DeSantis. The governor there was horrible. Clearly that's rigged. There's no doubt. It's a rigged election there. We will win enough states. Donald Trump's attacks on the post office, yes, they're concerning for different levels. Speaker Pelosi went through it today. All of our veterans get their prescription drugs through the VA from the mail. People depend on our mail for government checks who aren't getting direct deposit. The mail, our post office is fundamentally important to our democracy. In fact, it's actually in our Constitution. It was created by the Constitution, by the framers of the Constitution, specifically George Washington and Madison, because they believed it would lead to an informed electorate. And why, you might ask? Because at that time, that's how you got your newspaper. Your newspapers were mailed to people. So they knew having newspapers mailed to people would inform them of the issues of the day. So it's always been part of our democracy. So I just wanted to point that out, that the post office that Trump's attacking is not just about mail-in ballots. Because here's how we have to think. Our goal is one, to defeat Donald Trump and defeat Trumpism. But first, Trump. How do we do that? We win the key swing states. We know them all. We've got Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, North Carolina is in there. Florida, wink, rigged. Minnesota a little bit, Georgia, Texas, New Hampshire. These are the key swing states. Guess what? Every one of those but Texas allows absentee ballots for no cause, meaning you just request it and get it. Because here's the problem with the way some people are thinking about this, and Donald Trump doesn't get it, thankfully. This really isn't mail-in ballots. This is vote-at-home ballots. You request an absentee ballot, but Trump is actually he's fine with absentee. All these states have no-cause absentee, but the burden is on you to go to the websites of these states, Secretary of State, or go in person and request an absentee ballot. Then you'll actually get the ballot. Here's the thing. You don't have to mail it back. You don't have to use Donald Trump's post office to have your vote count. Now, one is if you're feeling healthy and the area where you live is no transmission of COVID by the time we get to November, vote in person. I'm not saying it's flawless, but you can do that. But second, if you get the ballot and vote at home, every single key state here allows you to drop the ballot off yourself in person before Election Day. Some of the key states that we're talking about have various places you can drop it off. It could be at the county, it could be the city. They can set up places that gather and accept ballots that are official. Other states, and my biggest point here is, if you live in one of these key swing states, go to the website, find out how you get an absentee ballot. If you're comfortable online, you can see it there. If not, call up and you'll get it sent to you. Fill it out the right way. Be really careful of how you fill it out, and then return it. Now, but you've got to look at each state and they tell you how you return it. For example, Michigan says about returning the ballot, you can do it until Election Day, but it says only you, a family member, a person residing in your household, a mail carrier, or an election official is authorized to deliver your signed absentee ballot to your clerk's office. So say you have compromised health, you get the ballot, you feel unsafe to go outside at all. In Michigan, here are the people you can go with confidence. It's actually in their state statute that you can give it to a household member, you can give it to a family member, an election official, or you can mail it. But I would recommend not mailing it. To be honest, I have to say this: you want to win this election. Let's not play on Trump's court. You just move outside of it. Let's not play his games. They're never going to agree to fund the mail. We don't need the mail. We can vote in person. Other states are not as clear. Pennsylvania, another key state, says mail or hand deliver your completed absentee ballot to your county election office by 8 p.m. on Election Day. This one does not say who has to deliver it by hand. I would call up and see, because my other point is you might be able to use a private service like FedEx or DHL to send your ballot. You might be able to give it to a friend, a family member. You might be able to give it to other people you trust who are involved in politics. You've got to sign it. It's got to be confirmed. But here, do not take a chance. You've got to call. You've got to do the homework. Same thing, North Carolina, another key state. You could return the ballot before Election Day. You don't have to mail it. Arizona, another key state, the exact same thing. Arizona talks about your ballot has to be dropped off, and they have ballot drop-off locations by 7 p.m. on Election Day. Forget the mail. Stop this framing about mail-in ballots and engage Donald Trump on this battle on the post office. I can assure you he's never going to agree to fund the mail-in ballots, the post office, because he believes it hurts him. We don't need the post office. I don't trust the post office. It's now run by Donald Trump's flunky, a GOP donor who's giving tons of money to Trump, who's laying people off left and right in executive positions to undermine the post office. Get your absentee ballot. And don't think of it as mail-in ballot. Think of it the right way. It is vote at home. Then drop it off. And again, you've got to look very carefully. Follow every rule, because the Trumpers are out there. They don't believe in democracy either. I've got to be blunt with you. They don't. Don't trust them. Michigan is very clear. State after state, it's clear who can drop off this ballot for you. Do the right thing. Have it dropped off. We don't need the post office. And guess what? Bottom line, we win this election. Trump is gone January 20th, and then becomes the investigation into the crimes of Donald Trump, who must be fully prosecuted so no other president commits crimes like this in office ever again. Not Democrat nor Republican. You put one ex-president in prison, and that sends a message to every future president. Guess what? Our ex-presidents do go to jail, because we're not a banana republic. No one's above the law. Let's win the election first. Remember, it's vote at home ballots, then drop it off. Vote at home, drop it off. Don't mail it. Don't trust Trump's post office. Thanks for tuning in. My show's live tonight, 6 and 9 p.m. We'll go in more detail there. I hope you enjoyed my little preview and my little tips on here, how we win this election. Donald Trump is the greatest threat to our democracy since World War II. Americans won in World War II. Americans will win against Donald Trump and Trumpism this time. I bank on that.